I'm a spiritual life coach. So what that means in short, good morning, lady. Good morning, you guys. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for being here. So what that means, okay, is that I work with the energy in here. Okay, so I work with people's energy in here. Now, if you want to call this a soul, a spirit, okay, uh, we can call this a spirit if you want to, but that's spirituality. Okay, it's working with the energy. Now, everything in the universe is energy. If you want to look at energy that way, life gets a little bit more simple because things become self-explanatory, okay? And the way you're feeling, right, affects your life. So believing versus knowing. What is believing versus knowing? Believing is accepting something is true without a direct experience. Okay? It relies on faith, trust in authority, adherence to what has been told or written. Okay? These are the characteristics of believing or being a believer. Okay? What is knowing? Knowing is being rooted in direct experience. Okay? Experiencing something. Okay? Inner certainty. When something becomes, let's say, real, okay, when something becomes undeniably real, like you experience it and you go, wow, yeah, I'm not dreaming, this is real, right? When that happens, okay, through your own awareness, your own experience, your own intuition, okay, something you encountered in the living world, okay, you'll know that you cannot shake that. It's unshakable. Okay, so knowing is unshakable, but belief can be shaken. You can shake belief any old time, right? Okay, because you can doubt. So doubt and fear, right? So when you ask, believe, receive, that belief part we're talking about, it's the belief part. You can doubt that belief, and then what happens? Then your manifestation doesn't happen. It goes away. Why? Because you pushed it away. Because you questioned the belief part. Okay, now knowing is very different. Knowing is different. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Costas. Costas, please ask me that question from yesterday. I saw a snapshot of it. Jay made a snapshot, and then I forgot what question you asked. Uh, please ask your question again this morning, and I will answer it. Jay will pin it up there. So, so believing and knowing are two different things. Okay, there are a lot of believers that believe what they're told. Okay, now who is telling them these things? Well, these are things that are written. Okay, they were written by other human beings, and it is said that these writings are the spiritual writings were inspired. But then you have to take into account that these inspired writings or these spiritual writings, okay, did not come from the hand of God, they came from the hand of men. And it got filtered through their perception, the same examples of perception that we talk about with you. Okay, like everybody has a different perception. Everybody's inspired differently. Everybody has different intuition. Okay, so everyone's experience is unique in here, in the kingdom. Okay, Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. Okay, but these spiritual writings, okay, whether it's the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Torah, the Talmud, it doesn't matter. Okay, but these spiritual writings were all inspired from different perceptions because they were all human beings that did this. Okay, so now you have belief. Knowing is different. Knowing is the spiritual experience itself that gets documented. Okay, so that experience, like what happened? Well, this happened. Okay, is that a miracle? Well, we'll see, right? And you weigh it. You also test it. Okay, so religion versus spirituality. We're going to talk about that for a second. Okay, because what I teach is within, inside. Okay, I'm teaching from the kingdom, about the kingdom, within the kingdom. Okay, it's nothing out here, nothing external. Religion is organized, it's structured, it's external. Religion is out here. You go to the church, right? You sit in the congregation. But Jesus said the kingdom was within. Okay? So religion involves teachings, rituals, right? Rituals, doctrines, Okay, rituals. You make the sign of the cross, whatever. Everybody has their own. Okay, some people don't like that. Some people say, well, that's not good or whatever. Those are opinions. Okay, but these are teachings, doctrines, community practices. Okay, now these things are handed down through generations. Okay, and it's also handed down through scriptures and through traditions and practices, and it provides a framework. Okay, and this framework follows a certain spiritual belief. Okay, whatever it is. Now in spirituality, this is different. This is inside. So Jesus Christ was really teaching spirituality. He wasn't teaching religion. Okay? Spirituality in here, the kingdom is within. Okay? And that's where he was teaching from, and that's what he was teaching about. It goes into scripture as well. Okay? It's documented in scripture. A lot of people don't know how to understand it. Okay? A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. Okay? So Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father. Okay? It's talking about the right hemisphere of the brain. Okay, that's where God lives. That's where you get inspired thought from. That's where you get intuition from. Okay, that's where you get imagination from. Okay, but this is inward. This is personal. These are things that you can feel. These are things that you can experience. Okay, now when you are aligning yourself with the divine or God or Jesus Christ or whoever, when you are aligning yourselves with that superconscious, okay, there's only the conscious, subconscious, superconscious. We're not telling you what to believe or how to believe. And this is not moral or immoral. Okay, I'm not talking about anything that's right or wrong or indifferent. Okay, I'm just saying you choose. But the things that are external out here, built by man, and the things that are internal, in here, built by God, or whoever you believe is responsible as your higher power or higher self or universe or whatever. But those things came built into you when you were a baby, when you were born. Okay, those things were given to you. Okay, they weren't taught to you. They were given. There's a difference. There's man-made and God-made. Religion is man-made. Okay, in here, in the kingdom that Jesus Christ was talking about, God made that. That's God made. And whoever you believe that to be, okay. But this is not a right or wrong thing. This is not made to make you feel guilty or upset or anyway. This is just information. But this is the difference between what I teach and what textbooks say. Okay. So textbooks is external. Okay. Surface knowledge, superficial knowledge. Okay. This is just an outline. What you get in colleges, what you get in studies are just outlines, basically. And they've been filtered through other people's perceptions of things. Okay? And those people have written theses and achieved doctorates, and then they go on to teach, and then, and it gets handed down. And some of these things pass tests, okay, to prove it, right? So you have some scientific basis for certain things, and certain things you don't. Certain things remain a hypothesis. Certain things in religion remain unproved, and certain things in religion are scientifically proved. Okay? But in here, in the kingdom that Jesus Christ was talking about, okay, that's not scientific. That's more spiritual. It's more spirit. It's more energy. Okay? Now, quantum physics is starting to prove this. Quantum physics is starting to prove these things that, like, first of all, we live in a simulation. But this is based upon how the brain processes data that it receives, and it projects out. So your life unfolds like this. Okay, this is not against religion. This is not against God. This is quite the contrary. This is for God. This is actually part of God. Okay, God is in here. God lives in you. God lives in here. That's our position. We're not telling you need to believe that. That's my position. Okay, I'm just telling you how I feel. So superficial knowledge versus inner learning. What is inner learning? Well, trial and error for one thing. when you try something and it works, and you try something and it doesn't work, now you have data. Now you know, okay, this one works, this way works, this way doesn't work. You don't have to go to college, or you don't have to have a degree to know these things. Okay, so this is inner knowing. Inner knowing comes with life experience. Okay, and there's a certain degree of life experience that everyone has, that everyone goes through, right, to get to where you are right now. Okay, and there are more decisions to make, more mistakes to make, more learning to achieve. Okay, but when you talk about the kingdom within, in here, when you talk about the power that you have through the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious, when you talk about ask, believe, receive, and how you actually make it work, because I've made it work since 2007. Okay, and before that, I was kind of made aware of it by my first mentor. I was kind of made aware. I didn't really pay attention to it. Okay, and then when my life started going really good, and the notoriety happened, and all of that stuff started to happen, then I thought, well, I was good. There's no need for a next level. This is it. This is a good ride, right? And the answer was no, wrong. There was more. Okay, but anyway, when I started going down the rabbit hole and doing my studies, I found, oh, okay, so they don't teach all this stuff in college. Okay, they teach some of it, bits and pieces of it, but what I had to do was assemble all of this. Okay, so we teach healing through the human voice is the first thing. And healing through the human voice is not a new thing. It's not a new science. It's not, I want to say, I wish I was a pioneer. I could say I was a pioneer of it. I'm not a pioneer of it, but I'm an active practitioner of it, in the sense that this research was done years and years ago. It started years and years ago, and it never really caught on as a popular remedy for anything. Okay, it's a remedy for self-confidence. Okay, it's a remedy for getting rid of anxiety. It's a remedy for becoming clear and clarity, developing more clarity in the mind. It's a remedy for all those things, yet it hasn't been promoted as such. It hasn't been, called to people's attention. So this is what I'm doing. I'm calling it to your attention. Because what I've noticed, and we made this correlation in our studies, is that all of these things are linked together. Okay, so when you have clarity, what happens is you manifest easier. Okay, things come easier. Money comes easier. Opportunities, jobs, whatever comes easier. Love comes easier. Okay, because you become naturally attractive. Why? Because someone isn't going to be attracted to you if your head is full of anxiety and worry and whatever, drama, that kind of thing. Nobody wants to join drama. They don't want to be a part of drama. Okay. If anything, they have their own drama and they want to get out of that. But this is what we've studied, and this is what we've learned since 2007, and it was miraculous because we saw what we considered to be miracles. We saw people completely change, like completely personality shift. And this is what's in my book. So this is my book. It's online. It's called The Universal Law of Attraction and Singing. And this is just talking about the voice and how the human voice heals. And then when the healing begins and the settling starts in the brain, which is a result of hormones being activated in your neurotransmitters, right? And flooding the brain with hormones as a result of the way that we teach the exercises. Then what happens is you're clear, and then things naturally come to you. Things naturally come. So if you want a copy of the book because you're watching the live, it's free. I'll give you a PDF copy of this. It's on Amazon, but I'll give you a free copy in your email or in Messenger or in, whatever, DM, however you're watching us. We're on 7 platforms every morning. I'll give you a free book. So anyway, but that's what the book is about. The book is about these changes in human beings that we saw as a result of the vocal training. So my companies are kind of like, they all work together. So the singing school is one thing. Voicemaster Vocal Development is one thing. And that's where we've been training people for 37 years. So that's an old thing. Okay, ever since 2010, we started with Here For You Life Coaching. And the reason we started Here For You Life Coaching, that's the company that this is a part of. And the reason why we started the life coaching is because we saw so many results for people who were seeking singing, right? They became clear and confident seeking singing. But then it occurred to us that, well, not everybody wants to sing. Sometimes when you say singing, people freak out, right? They go, "Oh, no, no, no," they're like that. And it's not really, you don't have to sing with this process, but you have to do the notes. You have to project these notes with velocity, with strength. Okay, so we thought, well, we're going to start this life coaching thingy because people need confidence. People need to get settled. People are taking medicine sometimes for no reason at all. Now, we're not making medical claims. We're not demonizing, the medical industrial complex. Okay, we're not going to demonize them or anything like that. But what we are saying is that if you're talking about a holistic approach, if you're talking about a natural approach, if you're talking, spirituality, okay, let's say, as opposed to external factors. Okay, so we're talking about your energy in here that you can use to heal versus anything external. Okay, I don't care if it's tapping, I don't care if it's, whatever it is. Okay, but it's used in, it's used with these other remedies. Okay, so these other spiritual practices that you see people do. So we do have affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. And those four components, those four pillars, when applied to any one thing, it has to happen. Because these are all the part of your subconscious. And this is what you use to achieve things. Manifestation manifestation happens through the subconscious. Not everybody tells you that. They make it sound like magic, they make it sound like witchcraft or whatever it is, but it's not. It's your subconscious. And when you know how to work this, when you know how to program in things for your subconscious has your conscious mind do it. Okay? Basically, you go on autopilot. Okay, you're on autopilot anyway. Okay, think about it. You don't have to learn how to drive the car every day. You know how, right? You just get into the car and you drive and you go. Okay, you just brush your teeth. You don't have to learn how to brush your teeth every morning, right? So all of these actions are committed to your subconscious. So when you're learning things, external things outside yourself, okay, that could be anything. Anything that does not involve you, the temple, okay, the kingdom, it's in here, okay? But anything that doesn't involve this, anything external, okay, this is superficial. Okay, inner learning is different. Inner learning means you go inside yourself, okay? You turn to your inner wisdom. Now, what is your inner wisdom? Well, normally it's the culmination of all of your senses. Okay, so ever since you've been alive, your subconscious has been absorbing data. Okay, you're not even part of consciousness till you were 7. We were going over this yesterday. Okay, I tend to repeat a lot of these things only because it's important to know. So up until you're 7 years old, you're not even a part of consciousness. Okay, because you're downloading data. You're downloading data. Then once you're about 7 years old, you have established your first paradigm. Now that first paradigm becomes a default. Okay, so you can change a little bit of it. You can adjust a little bit of it, and adjusting a little bit of it, or the amount that you can change between maybe, there's no exact number, but it's something like 15%, maybe 20%. Okay, but that 15% is substantial. Remember how we were talking about the 50 percentile, right? And this is positive and this is negative. If you move this 1 degree positive, now you have 51% positive, 49% negative. Now the majority of your life is good because it's the majority. It's 51%. Okay, so it's not like you have to go over here and do 90% and that's crazy. We're human beings. We go back and forth, positive, negative. Good thoughts, bad thoughts. Thoughts become things. Okay, that kind of thing. But superficial knowledge, okay, secondhand knowledge. Okay, secondhand knowledge is when you're learning something from someone else that someone else has studied, and then someone before that has studied, and someone before that has studied. And as it comes down, right, they modify it. And modification is necessary. Why? Because there's new discoveries. The human being evolves. Okay, so ever since I've been alive, there's been a new world record broken in the Summer Olympics every year. Okay, the human being goes a little faster. Okay, it may be just a fraction of a second, but they're faster. How does that happen? How does it happen every year, right? Because human beings are meant to evolve. Okay, we evolve and we evolve into our environment as well. We adapt into our environment. Thank you, lady. So all of these things are relative. Okay, they're all relative to what is absorbed either externally out here or internally in here. The things that are, absorbed internally, internal knowledge, okay, or internal wisdom, comes from experience, comes from everything that you've absorbed, everything that you've seen, everything that you've read, everything that you've heard, and everything you've studied in school and college and grad school, whatever it is, okay? But they don't teach this stuff in college because it's not part of a standardized program, okay? But here's the thing about college students, and my mom is one. She, I dropped out of college, but my mom is a college grad, right? And she has her degree, and my mother is an elementary school teacher. Okay, my dad had a master's, but anyway, they were both teachers, so it kind of came down the tree, and I kind of got stuck with teaching. But and I say that I joke around about that, but yeah, I had to eventually I had to teach. So anyway, but my mom is one of those, like, she invested time in school. Okay, she invested, right, money in school, or my grandparents did, right, and she did as well. She worked through college. So when you invest time and money in something, you begin to swear by it. Okay, you begin to worship the system. You begin to see the system as, well, without the system, I would be nothing. That kind of thing, right? Now, it's the same process as when I tell you about money, okay? The difference between using money, commanding money, or being the master over money, and money being the master over you, okay? Because when money starts telling you what to do, you have problems. When money influences the way you make moral decisions, you have problems. Okay, and the heart of corruption is the inability to make sound moral decisions when there's money involved. Okay, because why? Because you always give in to the money, right? And you know what they say, everybody has their price, right? So they start paying you, and pretty soon, well, okay, we got to do it their way. Okay, that's understandable. But a lot of people with sound moral judgment, at the point where money starts telling them what to do, they quit. They go. They say no. Because you run into those people, right? And it's a real thing. And they go, no, I decided to get out. I decided not to do it anymore. Because they wanted me to do this at a higher level, and I said no. And so they gave up. This happens in politics, this happens in business, this happens in corporations, this happens all over the place. Okay, because we live in commerce. Okay, we live in commerce. That's capitalism. Okay, so going inside yourself, right, to tap into your inner wisdom. You were born with infinite knowledge. You were also born with the genetics of your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents. Things come down the gene pool. Okay, so your talents, your abilities, the things that you're good at, the things that you're naturally good at. One of the things my mom discovered was in her early 80s, she started painting. I'm like, what? Who does that? Who does that in their 80s? Well, apparently a lot of people. Because after we found out she did it, I found out other ladies did it. And other people did it, right? And how does this happen? Well, it happens because it's in here, okay? Epigenetics tells us that when certain genes are expressed, we discover new things, right? But if these genes go unexpressed, okay, or if they go suppressed, if we suppress them, okay, And you can suppress genetics. Okay, anger, frustration, stress, all of this begins to compress your genetics. Okay, so I don't know if you know this, but epigenetics, study that. Dr. Bruce, what's his name? Bruce Lipton, sorry. Dr. Bruce Lipton. Sorry, I got to think of all of this in real time. But Dr. Bruce Lipton, look him up. Look him up on YouTube. He's the grandfather of epigenetics. Okay, he was the one who introduced the world to epigenetics and the study of epigenetics. So when genes are expressed, or when certain genes within you that are dormant are activated, okay, and there's different ways to activate them, okay, meditation is one, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, all of those four pillars will do it. What it does is it activates new, it starts to form new neural pathways in your brain, for one, but it also starts to activate your gene expression, and your genetic expression changes. And when that changes, new skills pop up. And it happened that way for my mom, although she doesn't know it as epigenetics. She just knows that she went to painting class, and then now she's painting these beautiful paintings because she learned how. Okay. But these are certain things that happen. People don't realize they have these hidden talents. That's why they call them hidden talents. Okay, these hidden talents, but then they become expressed, and then they come out and then they flourish, right? Because we practice them. And what does the subconscious do? The subconscious learns in repetition. Okay, so going inside yourself, right, means that you work with your life force, the gifts you've been given. Okay, everything in here, in the kingdom. Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. Jesus wasn't preaching a religion. I don't think he had any intentions of creating a religion. He had followers, he had disciples, okay? But I don't think he ever imagined that it would turn into what it has turned into today. Now, other people have taught the same thing. Okay, Krishna taught the same thing. Gautama Buddha taught the same thing. Okay, many people have taught the same thing. Jesus Christ was the last one, 2,000 years ago. Okay, but surface knowledge or superficial knowledge is very different. It's the difference between reading about something and experiencing something. Okay, so I've worked with a lot of professionals that have read this and that about a certain thing, but they've never really experienced it for themselves. Okay, when I put them through certain exercises, especially the vocal exercises, these things within them starts to come up. Why? Because the clutter starts to disappear up here. So they start to develop more clarity. Clarity is when your head is clear. It's kind of like working out. When you work out and you feel good after a workout, well, the projection of your voice is almost like that. It's almost like that, but it triggers hormones, oxytocin and endorphins. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone. Okay, endorphins are the feel-good hormones. Now, when you exercise, it's kind of like almost the same thing. Not quite the same. There are different aspects to the muscle workout kind of thing, voices versus the voice. So it's a little bit different, okay? But it's the same idea. So if you're working out, plus you're doing, does letting go mean trusting the superconscious, not to think about the solution to what we want? Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, now I remember what you asked yesterday. That's right, Costas. You're right. Yep, trust the superconscious. Or if you want to say universe, or if you want to say source, or if you want to say Jesus Christ, but trust that. So that's the difference between external and internal. This is internal, okay? Those ideas you get, intuitive thought that you get? You get that intuitive thought or that feeling about something, right? Go with it. Go with it. That's your inner guidance system, okay? Go with it. Sometimes we have ego, right? We have that, freedom of choice thingy, okay? So we tend to dismiss things like that. We get the idea and then we go, nah, that's silly. Why? Because our left brain comes in the picture. Okay, your left logic reptilian brain. Okay, and it starts thinking. When it starts thinking, guess what? It'll give you logic reasons why the intuition is not valid, why that intuitive thought is not good. It'll start rationalizing you out of the intuitive thought, or let's say divine guidance, if you want to say that, or the, God's guidance, you want to say that, however you want to put that. But that's what happens. So trust your inner guidance system. You're driving down the street. I haven't said this for a while, but I always use this scenario. You're driving down the street. You get the feeling, it's not a voice, it's a feeling that you should turn right. But you dismiss it because you think about it for a second. You go, nah, that's okay. I'll go to the next light. And then you get stuck in a traffic jam. What do you say? You go, I knew I should have turned over there, right? Because you did know. You actually knew, but you dismissed it and you went ahead and then you got stuck in a traffic jam. So this is what I'm talking about. Intuitive thought. If you trust your intuition more, okay? If you want to call it a sixth sense, if you want to call it spidey sense or whatever you want to call it, but trust that more. It will help you and your life will become better and you will make better decisions. The problem is we don't trust ourselves. Why? Because we've made bad decisions before, right? Okay, that's the left brain, that logic. So you get the intuitive thought, right? And that left brain, the logic brain starts going, remember the last time, you remember the last time you failed, you made a decision, it turned out to be bad, you remember, so you'll start to recall these things and then you don't trust yourself. So how do you build up the trust in yourself? How do you regain the trust in yourself? Okay, we call that self-confidence. How do you do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay, I'm here giving you this information for free. Okay, and all you have to do is put it into practice. It's not hard. It's not difficult. Affirmations, here, get your pen. Okay, I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. There you go. That's your affirmation. Okay, what's your meditation? Your meditation is to sit still for 10 minutes. You can put on some music if you want to. You have the feeling that you are a great artist. Okay, keep that feeling going and practice. Whatever kind of artist that you think you are, practice those things, and you'll see it will start to happen. Okay, you can do anything you put your mind to, or anything you have your heart in, Diamond, or Diamond. Sorry, Diamond. So anyway, so now you have your affirmation. Now your meditation is 10 minutes of stillness. Why? Because you've just written your affirmation. Now you want to sit and think about it. Think about confidence. Think about how good it feels to be confident. Okay, but just sit there. You're going to get thoughts. The thoughts will come. If you're active and you're normally busy, you will have, let's say, speedy thoughts. It won't be that speedy, but you'll have thoughts that pop in and out as you sit still. Okay, sitting still for 10 minutes is a challenge. Try 5 minutes first. Okay, maybe 3 minutes first, then 5 minutes. Okay, and I'm talking about 3 minutes the first day. Okay, 5 minutes the second day, 10 minutes the third day. If you cannot do 5, repeat 5 until you can do 5, and then go 10, like that. So everything, including your awareness, okay, including your subconscious, everything starts small and builds. Everything in life begins, right, with a seed that you plant, okay, and then it sprouts and then it grows. And as it grows, what do? You nurture it, you water it, you take care of it, you grow it, okay? So you start small with everything, even with an idea. You start with a small idea. Some of my clients come to me with huge ideas. I do business coaching. I do mindset coaching for business people. So they come to me with huge ideas and I'm like, okay, wait. Let's scale this thing down first. Let's scale it down to something practical that you can make money on right now. And then we build from there. And most of my business clients stay with me for years. I've had one client that's 4 years now. 4 years she's been with me because she's become productive. and because she keeps getting better and better and better. And the better you get, the more money you make, the more opportunities come, you know. So better. There's no limit to better. Okay. On the negative side, there's a limit. Okay, because you can go from 50%, you can go to the street. Okay, then you can go to prison. After prison, there's only the graveyard. That's it. It stops right here. That's it. Okay, street, prison, graveyard. Done. You don't get a chance after the graveyard. You're done. But 50%, right, forward, okay, or let's say positive. How many houses can you buy? No limit. How many cars can you buy? No limit. How much good can you do for someone else? No limit. You see? Like that. How much money can you earn? No limit. No limit. We have billionaires, pretty soon we'll have trillionaires. Okay, it's just the way of the world. Human beings evolve. Okay, so now let's look at going inside yourself. What does that mean? It means that you focus on your inner wisdom, your intuition. Everything is inward. Okay, intuition. All those things. Are you focusing on things people wrote? No, not really. Because you go inside and you know. And this is what Jesus Christ was saying. He said, seek first the kingdom, and all else will be added unto you. He didn't say seek the kingdom and then read the books. He didn't say read the books and then seek the kingdom. No, he said you seek the kingdom, and this is where it happens for you, in here. Everything falls into place in here. But you have to stay in here. Okay, well, let's say it another way. You have to go in here and stay here for a while, every day. And then things become clear. Okay. Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, Lao Tzu, he said, muddy water let stand clears. Okay, so your mind is muddy water if you're being distracted. Your mind is muddy water if you're go, work, push. You know those people that are making a lot of money? They make a lot of money, right? Push. You know the people, they're always late, they're always stressing. You always see these people, these realtors, they've got like 5 open houses, or they're selling homes like mad, right? You ever see these guys in the second half of their lives? Because I know a lot of these people. I know a lot of these business titans. You ever see them at the second half of their life? Like after 50. It starts around 50, maybe late 50s. You ever see them in their 60s and 70s and 80s? Right? Oh, they've got to go doctor because they've, you know, this, that, all that money, okay? All that, like everything that they were push over here in the first stage of life, in the first half of life, everything that push over here, it's like paying out to the hospital, right? It's like paying to the doctors. It's like paying to the, right? Why? Because they've overtaxed this one. Because they haven't been good to this one. They haven't been giving personal time to this. Me time, you know, relaxing, going to the spa, going to the beach, going to the mountains, going skiing, doing all these things. Things to relax. No, they're push, work, like that. And what happens? Well, your blessings are trying to come to you, but you're pushing forward, push. Because it's all about money, right? Wrong. It's not all about money. Like I said, if you're worshiping money, okay, if you think it's all about money, right? Because I know people like that. They do anything for money, okay? And those are the most easily corruptible people, okay? But here's the thing. If you put people over money, if you put your heart and your worth, your self-worth over money, you're not corruptible. You can walk away. If you're in love with money, there's a difference between loving money and being in love with money. Okay, can't get enough of money. Okay, because if you're in that state, you'll do anything for money, right? Won't you do anything for your husband you're in love with? Won't you do everything for your wife you're in love with? Think what you'll do if you're in love with money. You'll do anything for money. Okay? Because it's money. Okay? Now, you have to you have to love money. You just can't be in love with money and make money the end all for you in your life. Okay, you can love money. I love money. I love the things that money buys. Okay? I like to work hard for money. Okay? But balance is key. If you're not balancing, this is why I tell you about those people. In the first half of life, they're killing themselves for money. In the second half of life, they're paying all the health professionals to restore their health, right? And they're dying young. They get cancer. They get illnesses. All of these things go wrong with their body. They have inflammation. Their joints are out of whack. Why? Because they were running too hard over here. They were running the engines too hard over here. I don't care if you buy a new Mercedes or BMW or Cadillac or whatever. If you take it home and you put it on blocks and you floorboard that thing and work the engine to its maximum, you're going to burn out that car eventually. It may take a few weeks, it may take a few months, but that engine will fail because you can't work it like that. So balance is key. Okay, now getting back to what I was talking about internal versus external. The books that you read, the influencers that you follow, all of that is external. Okay, I'm external for you right now because I'm over here outside your body. Okay, but I'm here to inspire you. I'm here to give you the good news. Okay, the good news is the kingdom is within. And that's where I work as a life coach, okay, as a mindset coach, as a productivity coach. That's where I work, in here. And that's how I work with my clients. And my clients become more productive. And, my CEOs transform their companies. Okay, my other professionals transform their units that they work in, their divisions that they work in. Their, whatever it is, right? Unit, division, real estate office, that kind of thing. Okay, but that's what happens. So this is all the result of working with your subconscious, because your subconscious is your program. It's not hard to program it. Here, start with this. Okay, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. A little bit every day, less than 15 minutes a day, and you'll change your life. You'll change your life in 66 days. I guarantee you. Okay, it's worked with everybody that's ever done it. Okay, and it's not me. It's not my original thing. Okay, this has been done throughout the centuries. Subconscious work does not belong to me. It started eons ago. Okay, but your life force is your power. Your life force in here is your power. When you direct this energy towards a purpose and you focus on that purpose, your subconscious manifests things for you. But first, it has to be a belief. It has to be a belief in your subconscious. Okay? So your conscious mind makes the decision. Your conscious mind says, okay, we're going to study nursing. Okay? Your subconscious is waiting for the details. So if you're writing an affirmation, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am in the nursing program. Thank you. And maybe you're trying to get in the nursing program. Okay? So now your conscious mind has made the decision, nursing program, that's the topic. Your subconscious goes, oh, nursing program? And then it starts creating pathways. It starts giving you ideas. Okay? The superconscious gives you intuitive thought about whatever is in your subconscious. So now that it's a belief, right? I believe I am in the nursing program, or I believe that I want to enter the nursing program. Now your superconscious, or God, the superconscious, works with the subconscious to reinforce it. to give you intuitive thought for it. Okay? So like maybe I should go get a loan. Maybe I should apply for a student loan to get in the nursing program. Maybe I should go to whatever, do my prerequisites. Maybe I should go to community college, maybe whatever, right? But it will start to give you suggestions. But it's all going to be aimed at whatever's in your subconscious. Now, this works also for the way you feel about yourself. Okay? If you think that you're not worthy of whatever, or just not worthy, period, it will start giving you intuitive thought to prove to you that you're not worthy. It will constantly give you thoughts of lack. It will constantly give you thoughts of not good enough. It will show you with everything you do how you weren't good enough. Okay? And you will fall short from things. And the reason you will fall short is that your subconscious, right, is outfitting your life based upon what you believe. And if you believe you're not good enough, it will let you go only a certain amount. And then you will fail. Only a certain amount. And you will fail. And then guess what? It will become a repetition within your subconscious. The subconscious learns in repetition and it plays repetition. Okay, it's that program that replays and replays and replays in repetition. So if the thought is, I'm not good enough, or the thought is, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Any negative thought, it's going to start feeding it to you over and over and over again. And the more it feeds it to you, the more you believe it. And guess what? Now you're stuck on the merry-go-round. Now you're stuck on the mouse wheel. Why? Well, because you have some negative beliefs here, and now the subconscious is reiterating that for you, and now you believe what it's saying. You believe what it's telling you. And it starts showing you, it starts giving you scenarios, it starts playing out in your life. And little by little, you start hesitating. And little by little, that hesitation or procrastination, okay, starts turning into failures. And you see these failures pop up, pop up, pop up. And why are the failures popping up? Because it's a program in your subconscious. Because you actually believe you're not good enough. So you have to identify what it is you're feeling and what it is you believe. Once you identify what it is you really believe, now you know how to go against it. Okay, because if you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. Okay, if you know what you don't want, people say what they don't want all the time, right? That's the problem. People focus on what they don't want more than what they do want. And you'll hear them say that. They go like, well, if it's one thing I don't want it, I don't want that to happen, right? I'm trying to get away from this happening. I'm trying to get away from you see what I mean? But what's the topic? The topic is this thing happening. And they're trying to say that they don't want it to happen. But that's the topic. As long as it's the topic, the subconscious will focus on it. It becomes a belief. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. So this is all internal. This is not external. Your beliefs are not out here. Your beliefs are in here, in the subconscious. So now what do? You start writing affirmations to believe in yourself. Okay? So let's do it. I am so happy and grateful now that I believe in myself. Thank you. If you write that down, in 2 weeks you will feel a shift. In 66 days, it will become a belief in your subconscious. And you can Google that. Google it. Okay? The minimum it takes to form a habit, a new habit, build a new habit, or stop a habit, 66 days. Thank you, lady. Say it again. Say what again? What do you need to hear, brother? Good morning. Write that down. Yeah, write that down. Okay? I am so happy and grateful now that I believe in myself. Thank you. Always put thank you at the end of your affirmations, because what that does is it expresses gratitude and it allows you to bring more of it in your life. Okay. So whatever you believe in your subconscious, if you were raised in an environment, okay, now not all of us were raised in good environments. I don't really know anybody that comes from a perfect environment. Okay. uh, even you even see rich kids, right? The Hollywood kids, right? They grow up and they have all these major problems. They have this major drug addiction, all of that stuff. Did they grow up in a perfect environment? No. Did they have money? Yeah, they did. Okay, but money is not the end all. Money is not the thing that okay. So money is not the thing that uh, determines a good life or not. Okay, money just amplifies things. If you're having a bad life and somebody dumps a bunch of money on you, it's not guaranteed your life is going to get better. Okay, because you'll still make bad decisions. So the thing is to fix your decision maker first. Okay, your subconscious, your beliefs. Get your beliefs in order first. Because when you get your beliefs in order, your subconscious works off of those beliefs to give you results, to give you the results you need in life. Okay, life happens like this. It happens for you. It doesn't happen to you. It doesn't happen like this. Okay? If you think life is happening to you like this, like one thing after the other keeps happening, then you're in defense mode. And if that's the case, then you're suffering from victim mentality because you think everything happens to me. Life happens for you hey Carmi, life happens for you according to how you believe. And we all have different beliefs. And our perception is all different. Our perception is different. Okay, so what does that tell you? Well, the way we see things, our perception, okay, our paradigm. You hear people talk about paradigm shifts all the time. You got to shift your paradigm, shift your paradigm. Before you can shift your paradigm, you have to change your beliefs. So if you look at the subconscious tree, right? I always do this. So let's do it for those of you who just joined us or joining us for the first time today. So the roots of the tree are your subconscious beliefs. Okay, the trunk of the tree is your paradigm, your attitude based upon what you believe, how you see the world. Okay, that's the trunk of the tree. The fruits of the tree up here, okay, are your actions, and those actions produce results. Okay, now, can you do random actions and get different results? Yeah, you can. But they're not going to be lasting unless you change the roots down here. Okay, because these random actions that you do will give you temporary results. You do a good action, you get a good result. Okay, but if your subconscious has not been changed, if you have not changed the belief in your subconscious, it's going to slowly default back. And then you'll get those bad habits again. Okay, bad habits are easy to change. They're not difficult to change. Now, if you have a chemical dependency or something like that, that's a little different. Okay, but even those things are over. They're beatable. Put it that way. You can beat those things. Okay, it takes a little effort, but yeah, you can abstain. You can get by, and you can move past it. But in your subconscious, with your beliefs that dictate the way you see things, that dictate your actions, you can change that. But if you don't change it, this is why things start happening back again. Like you go backwards. You take 2 steps forward, you move 1 step back. And this is why. Now, once you start changing your beliefs, it begins to automatically change your paradigm. If your paradigm automatically changes, okay, the fruits up here on the tree, the actions will automatically change because the actions have to accommodate what's being dictated to it by the paradigm, by your paradigm. And that is dictated by the beliefs that you have down at the roots of the tree. And that's the subconscious tree. Okay, but that's what happens. So I'm gonna finish by saying that your life force, or the Indian people call it prana. Okay, so your life force, I gotta put this thing here, sorry. There we go. So your life force, okay, the Indian people call it prana. Okay, your spirit or energy or essence, your inner essence is very powerful, and it works for you. It attracts things to you through your subconscious. Everything happens in here. Okay, people are trying to sell you stuff, so they'll leave out things. They'll leave out that manifestation is your subconscious. They'll leave out that stuff. Why? Because if you guys knew about this, like I'm telling you, you don't need these guys. If you know how manifestation is done, you manifest whether you know it or not. You manifest whether you are aware of it or not. Look at the things that are coming into your life. That's what you've manifested. It's very simple. It's not rocket science, you guys. Okay? You shouldn't have to be paying for all of these courses and all this stuff. If you want to get a coach to get you on track, that's what I do. Okay? But my niche, the people that I teach are normally professionals. I call them high-powered professionals because they have very stressful jobs. They're in charge of other people. They're in charge of, I have one lady that's in charge of an entire unit in a hospital. So, I mean, you know, those kinds of things, okay? So when you go inside yourself, though, and you access the prana, okay, or your life source, or your energy, or your soul, or your spirit, whatever you want to say that is, okay, when you access that, things change. Start looking at life as energy. It's easy to understand if you look at everything as energy, because everything affects everything else, although you don't really see it. You don't see a direct influence, but everything influences everything else. Okay? Your inner kingdom inside. Your inner power inside. Okay? Your inner knowledge, your inner wisdom will guide you. You know, it's not something like, well, if you go to college and you get a degree, you're good. No, I know a lot of people that are messed up in college. And all of my professional clients, every single one of them have degrees. They're college graduates, they have degrees, they've gone to grad school. Some of them have multiple degrees, they have 2 or 3 degrees. And there's nothing wrong with them. Here's the thing about college and professions, okay? When you're in high school, you're aiming for college. When you're in college, you're aiming for the degree. Once you get the degree, you go into the workforce and you work. And what do? You do the same thing you studied for, okay? When you're in college, you're studying for that degree, for that profession. You're not in college to get smart. You're in college to learn that specific thing. And yeah, you pick up other information, so you do get smart, okay? But what I'm saying is you're so focused on that, whatever that is, whatever that career is, you're so focused on that other things get by you. You're not paying attention to the kingdom in here. You're not paying attention to your subconscious. You're not paying attention to these things. You're focused on what you do. So when my clients hire me, right, it's because they're focused on what they do and they need results fast. And there's nothing faster than getting results through your voice. There's nothing faster than reprogramming your subconscious. But the good thing about reprogramming your subconscious is that it starts to play it back for you. Okay? So it's like a computer. You only get out what you put in. Okay? But the good part is that you put in good stuff, it starts playing out good things, and you start having a better life. Okay, so it's 8 o'clock, and Jay is about to put up the signal, if she didn't already. If you did, I didn't see it, Jay. But thank you. Thank you, Costas. Thank you, lady. Thank you for joining us for another morning, and hopefully you have some information now that you can do some studying, go put it in AI, go put it in your chat GPT, do some research. Thank you, Manuel. Thank you very much. Thank you, buddy. Nice to see you, my friend Manuel in Belgium. Costas, thank you. My friend Costas in Greece. Thank you, lady. Thank you very much. Osama, good morning. Thank you. Thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Hawaii time. It's 8 a.m. right now, Hawaii time, just for a reference. So if you need to know when to join us. Thank you so much. And yeah, we're going to let go of our international feed, so we want to say lots of love and